It's Open House Thursday on Your View. Welcome to the show. I am Murayo Afolabi Brown. With me are the co-hosts. How you doing, ladies?
Excellent morning.
Good to see you. Yeah, Jalu.
Good to see you. We'll be seeing each other.
How's everything?
Yeah, great. So some people have been asking me that they've been looking for House of BC, here by BC on social media, that they can't find it. Yes. So what happened was I had to consolidate all my business pages to one, so that I don't have different pages scattered all over the place. So right now, if you are looking for my products, you just go to BC's Business Empire. Everything is there. The hair, the clothes, the snacks, everything I'm coming up with is going to be there. If you're looking for the consulting, that's the aspect of the teaching, you just go to Bisuch Consult Media. And that's it. You see everything there. So I just have 2 business pages on social media. So please, I'm still very much on Instagram. I danced for you people yesterday. You did not see my dance. Shaking my something. I tried for you guys. Just by
How you doing?
I'm fine. I'm fine. I want to congratulate my friend. I call him Officer Ishaku. So he got a promotion. He's a soldier. And he's been very, very kind and nice to me at the Ojo Barracks, because I have to find my way to my parents' place. And when I got the news that he's been promoted, I knew he went for a course and he just came back. He'll be decorated today. I will try my possible best. Traffic notwithstanding to get to that celebration today. Congratulations, Officer Ishaya Biliamino. Call him Ishako.
How you doing, Mariam? I love your jacket.
Thank you.
Nice.
My cardigan.
Oh, I love it.
Thank you.
I didn't even notice that just now.
Yeah, thank you.
Very Mariam.
Very Mariam.
I've been talking about the Akada Children's Book Festival coming up on Saturday. Please be there. Be there. It will be fun for the children and for families too. Like the whole family will have something to do. It starts from about 8, and I'll be doing a book reading about 3 p.m. on that day. But then it's a whole day of fantastic, good fun. There'll be books, there'll be authors, there'll be book chats, book readings, fitness fun. You know, it's at Upbeat Center in Lekki, and you know they do all the trampoline things. So there'll be all that, lots of fun. There'll be sip and paint as well. You know, just so many things fun. Then there'll be master classes talking about. Really talking about like mental health, understanding your children understanding you, you know, back and forth. Classes that involves you and your children being in there and then learning to know them better. And it just opens your children, you know, to this whole world of books and real important conversations, content that you'd be so proud of that your children would assimilate and just imbibe. So please be there on Saturday. And be at my book reading by 3.
Fantastic. Good.
And
it's Thursday, you know.
I feel like I'm falling, like I need my seatbelt. I don't know, I think I've been strapped too long.
You need a pillow to lift you.
Okay.
I've been feeling something that I'm missing my...
You've been strapped in traffic for too long.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. Oh, I get that.
Like something
Strapped in your car for too long.
Anyways, it's Thursday, it's our gisting day, so I'm told that our viewers on DSTV and GoTV channel 45, in the course of today's show, would have to switch to a live broadcast of Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu's 2023 budget presentation at the Lagos State Assembly at some point. So just letting you know ahead of time, just in case we have to switch over. Let's go on a quick break. When we come back, we'll go through the front pages of the papers. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. We're going to start with the nation. PDP crisis, Autumn attacks Atiku as Mimiko rejects job. Security alert, no reason for evacuation of U.S. citizens. CBN changes Naira notes. Court dismisses suit seeking Abiodun's disqualification. Court to Kogi, don't disrupt Dangote's operations. Marketers raise petrol price to 179 Naira from 169 Naira. No admission offer has been cancelled, says JAM. An online lotto casino orders to pay taxes directly to FIRS. All right, which story are we starting with?
Yeah, I'll start with JAM. So the JAM Registrar and Chief Executive, Professor Oloyede, he's saying that he's addressing some of the issues that have been brought up. So there are concerns that because of the strikes that have happened in 2020 for 10 months, and then, of course, we know the recently called off one that happened for 8 months this year. And for those who have written JAM, they're wondering if their admissions have been cancelled. He says that no admission has been cancelled for any session or for any institutions, except if the Senate of those institutions say so. He explained that JAM is just like a coordinating center to make sure that no student is shortchanged and supervises the admission process, the exam process, but that students have to now go to these institutions to confirm when their admissions will start running. He explained also that because of the strikes, it has affected the academic sessions for many schools. So some schools they're still running their 2020, 2021 sessions, some 2021, 2022, some 2022, 2023. So you need to go to those institutions and find out where you would fall, but that none of the admissions that have been licensed or validated by JAM have been cancelled.
Okay, so the prices within the PDP escalated yesterday, especially after Governor Autumn of Benue State insisted that the flag bearer of the PDP, Atiku Abubakar, must apologize to him publicly. He did acknowledge that that Atiku apologized to him privately, but he said that would not suffice because he said that his people were stealing herdsmen's cattle in Benue and he must apologize publicly. In the same vein, the former Ondo State Governor, Olusegun Mimiko, also rejected the offer to become the presidential campaign coordinator for Ondo State, said that he cannot leave Governor Wike at this time, that he's aligned with Governor Wike's position that the IU must go, and he would not accept that position as coordinator. So obviously the rift is within PDP is yet to abate, and we just hope that this can somehow...
It doesn't even affect them.
I hope it doesn't affect the elections, because now that certain governors are refusing to support his candidacy...
The House is
divided. Okay, another story in Nation?
Yes, so we know that the Kogi State government and Dangote Group have recently been at loggerheads, and they've been fighting over the ownership of Obajana cement factory. And the state government had, on October 13, 2022, given the cement factory 48 hours to shut down following an order of the Kogi House of Assembly, because they were asking them to present their papers to show that they actually own and they got the company from the right, channel. So Justice Binta Nyako of the Federal High Court sitting in Abuja yesterday restrained the Kogi State government from shutting down Dangote Cement PLC in Obajana. And they also stopped the state government from disrupting or suspending the activities of Dangote Coal Mines Limited and Dangote Industries Limited in Okaba, Ampa local government area, and in Olamaboru local government area, respectively. The argument they had, as a lawyer that represented the companies, was saying that this will affect cement production in the whole of Nigeria and also affect people who are working in these companies. And so they must allow them to, finish all the proceedings before we now decide who owns the company and not, and who doesn't own the company. But for now, the company must go ahead to continue its job while the matter is in court and being sorted out by the court and the government.
Okay, moving on quickly now to the Punch. 2023 Lagos, Kaduna, Rivers, Kano voters top INEC register. Flooding. Experts warn of epidemic as corpses float. DSS arrests terror suspects. US evacuates non-emergency staff. CBN plans Naira redesign to counter counterfeiting kidnapping. FG announces preferred bidders for Abuja, Lagos airports. Buhari eyes over $1.3 billion trade with South Korea. Tears as BRT vehicle kills trader, an apprentice, and another laborer. And NDLEA freezes 20 billion naira in socialites 103 bank accounts. Which story are we starting with?
Okay,
Go ahead, Nima.
Go ahead, yeah.
okay, so the DSS, as Department of State Services, have arrested 2 terror suspects in Abuja. And they said these 2 terror suspects are supposed to be siblings. According to the Punch report, they're supposed to be siblings, and they were taken into custody on allegations of terrorism. You know that, the U.S. In the past 24 hours have issued terror alerts and advisory to their citizens in Nigeria. And that's all. They were supposed to be attacking a mall in Abuja.
So evacuated their staff to safety.
Yeah.
Okay.
They have
Okay,
to.
another
So
story.
of the flooding. So we have potential crisis on our hands. So because of the flooding, and we remember the UNICEF had said that out of our 36 states, 34 were states in Nigeria affected by the flooding. And as a result, over 600 people lost their lives, 1.3 million people have been displaced. Over 200,000 houses have been partially or fully damaged. And what is of even greater concern right now is that we have corpses just floating, in the flood. And the Nigerian Medical Association, the president of NMA, was speaking that government needs to do something immediately before we have an epidemic on our hands. He says as of right now, many wells, and sources of water are contaminated, especially in the Bayelsa area. So government needs to do a lot about providing like toilets, proper healthcare facility, camps where people can be. That's for those who have been displaced. And of course, we know if you have corpses just floating around, what this would mean.
You see, it goes back again to what we said about this local government. I hate to discuss this, but you see, this is a local government problem.
What are they doing? Yes.
We have a budget. These are the things, because the federal government cannot come and help
we are
us.
coming to
Is
it.
it Buhari that will come and...
That's what, so the failure of the local government. That's the problem we're having in this country. Let me let you go. Sometimes it just gets on. Go ahead, let's take another story.
Yes. So 3 persons were confirmed dead. Several others injured Wednesday when a BRT bus rammed into a market fence at Alapmere in K2 area of Lagos State. He said the driver was, driving with his passengers, and then he lost, his brake failed, and he rammed into people who were trying to cross the road. There was a market woman who was just coming back from the market. There was an apprentice and a wheelbarrow pusher, and 3 of them died instantly. About 8 others were injured. And so eyewitnesses were saying that the BRT in those areas have brake problems. They are always dragging the road with commuters, that their brakes are always failing there, and the government needs to look into this. Since it's the BRT buses belong to the government, they must make sure that they maintain it so that we don't have all of this.
So they're actually private owned because they give private
partners.
But they should
private
be,
partners,
yeah, but they should be
but they should be able
monitored.
to regulate and
yeah.
ensure that they are. The story, the picture story, Buhari's eyeing about $1.3 billion from South Korea. He is in South Korea and trying to woo investors to come to Nigeria. According to him, he would like them to invest in our oil and gas trade, manufacturing, ICT, creative industry, and cultural exchange. He has assured them that his administration has prioritized power infrastructure they have also ensured that there'll be about 25,000 megawatts of electricity by 2025. He also told them that as regards clearing of cargo, giant strides have been digitized for the processes to be fast-tracked so that the sea parts will be expedited and all that. So he's winning investors from South Korea, hoping that they would indeed become partners for us. He was speaking with his counterpart, Mr. Yoon Suk-yeol, at the Presidential Palace in South Korea. Another story in Punch? Nima, you wanted the story?
No.
Okay, let's move on now quickly to the Daily Sun. Security agents raid Abuja Estate. U.S. asks nationals to leave Nigeria. Kano records another legal victory against federal government. External debt rises to $40 billion in 7 years, DMO reports. Catholic Church will mobilize effectively for polls, says Priest Association. Benue killings autumn fumes fault article. Fuel scarcity will increase pump price between 195 Naira and 200 Naira, says Ipman. Flood destroys 80 billion Naira transport for infrastructure. CBN to unveil redesigned 200 Naira, 500 Naira, and 1,000 notes by December 15th. And preliminary voters register hit 93.5 million, says INEC. Story of Stars Week, BC?
Central Bank of Nigeria,
Yes,
Mr. Godwin Emefiele, yesterday said that they are planning to unveil a newly redesigned banknotes of 200 naira, 500 naira, 1,000 naira by December 15th this year. So he was asking depositors to make sure that they exchange their old currencies for new ones before January 31st. So they are going to, first of all, release by December 15th the new notes, and then we'll still have the old notes work side by side till January 31st. So one of the reasons they wanted to do this is the fact that they said 3.23 trillion of money in circulation, only 2.77 trillion, only 2.77 trillion is outside the bank's system. It's in people's private houses and vaults. That the Nigerians keep a lot of cash at home. That makes up about 80% of money outside the bank's control. And so they're trying to see how these people can bring in all of this money, because there's this, according to international best practice that we're always talking about, they're supposed to be changing the notes in 5 to 8 years, and they haven't done so in 20 years. Yeah. So this is an opportunity to do it and ensure that they are able to, you know, give the Naira notes more dignity. They also realize that a lot of fake notes are available, especially from 500 Naira to 1,000 Naira. This will also help clean out the system. Now, some, you know, people now will always come up with conspiracy theories. Say, are you sure this is for the right cause, or you want to do it so you want to release money for politicians and big boys at this time? Okay. But if they are going to be getting money from everybody, people that have money in their vaults, it's a way of pushing money into the banking system. The argument is that the banks will have enough cash so that they can even give loans with little interest for businesses and all that. So money may just likely flow.
Any other stories?
INEC.
Go on, Mary.
Okay, so INEC is saying that they have identified 23 of their officials who have been attempting to register fake voters ahead of the 2023 elections. This was also in response to the coalition of united political parties that had raised alarm that that certain members of a political party were trying to manipulate the voters' registers with fake names. So INEC responded to them and said that, in fact, as of now, they have 23 officials that will face disciplinary actions for as many as 40 attempts or more to register one fake voter. It's interesting. He also disclosed that an estimated 93.5 million voters will tentatively participate in the general elections. Also, it shows that about 12 million Nigerians successfully completed the registration as new voters. The numbers, and then he says that the rigorous cleaning up of the data using the automated biometric identification system, which they call ABIS, also shows that over 2 million Nigerians have been that registered were identified as being ineligible registrants, invalidated from the record because of double or multiple registrations, underage persons, and outrightly fake registrations. Right. It just says that there's a whole process, but INEC is assuring Nigerians that it's committed to giving us a free and fair elections. It also said that there's nothing that the bimodal voter accreditation system would continue, nothing will take that away, and also the transmission of results in real time will be part of the election going forward, and INEC is doing its very best to give us a free and fair election.
Okay, so new data has emerged on the effect of the floods that we've suffered over this period of time, and I like that the federal government, ministers for works and housing, Babatunde Raji Fashola, alongside the Minister for Water Resources, Suleiman Adamu, Humanitarian Affairs, Minister for Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management, and Social Development, Sadia Umar Farouk, and the Minister for Information and Culture were briefing press, and the Minister for Works explained that 154 locations with transport infrastructure worth 80 billion naira has been affected, impaired, or damaged by this flood. And, you know, this, of course, 612 lives, 1.4 million Nigerians displaced, thousands of properties destroyed as well. And he also went on to absolve the federal government of claims or blames. Nigerians have been blaming the federal government for not providing shelter for people to relocate to when they issued the flood warning. And he said that sometimes we becloud these things. This providing shelter is not the exclusive prerogative of the federal government or exclusive duty of the federal government. There are state governments and there are local governments. I totally, completely agree with him because when the ecological funds come, they are disbursed to states. And states are supposed to prepare.
And local government.
And when you have disasters like this, you don't go all the way to the center.
Exactly.
The response should come from local governments and state governments within here, you know. And he took a holistic reply. In the same report, you see the governor of Bayelsa State saying that our federal government have no... And I'm wondering, what happened to the flood? Bayelsa is a flood-prone state. Simple. It is a waterlogged state. Ecological fund disbursed to these states, along with all the excesses of oil production. What did you do to prepare?
Nigerians, the importance of our local government, because we can't keep going to the federal. At all. People have budgets. Yes, states sometimes collect the money and they give to the local government. They're asking for local government autonomy. Okay, until that time, states are giving you the money. The money states is giving you.
What are you doing with it?
You're saying that the disaster management ministry did not reach out to relieve your people. You, that you own the state, you've gone around with boats. You've done, I saw the pictures of the governor going around the state. These are your own people, your own blood, your own kit and kin. What is it
These are the people that elected you.
I was going to take the story about the Catholic Church in, I think it's in Calabar yesterday, was saying that they will mobilize lots of citizens to exercise their franchise during the elections. According to them, they did the same thing to get them to register, to do their voters' registration, and they will also participate in ensuring that everybody within their own sect is able to vote. And I think that's a good thing. I think that all other religious bodies across board should do the same thing because these are very important elections coming up. And everybody should be able to get people to, don't compel them to vote for your own candidate, but at least get them to vote for their conscience across board. Right. Let's move on quickly now to the Vanguard. How much time do we have? Not much time. Some INEC staff tried to enroll fake voters 40 times, says Yakubu. Banks tax remittances to federal government up to 40%. Terror alert, FG, US disagree on citizens' evacuation. Stop the sale of TBS, Lagos tells federal government. PSN raises alarm over mass exodus of pharmacists. Court to federal government, return Kanu to Kenya, pay 500 million naira damages. Court restrains Kogi government from shutting down Dangote cement. ASU strike, JAM hasn't cancelled any admissions, says registrar. Okay, which story are we taking in Vanguard?
Nnamdi Kanu. So the Federal High Court sitting in Umuahia yesterday ordered the federal government to pay 500 million as damages to the IPOB leader, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, for forcefully abducting and renditioning him from Kenya June last year. You know, the first judgment that they had, he was asked to be released, which the federal government has refused to release him, citing excuses like he's a flight risk, he poses as a form of security threat to the southeast and all that. So traditional rulers and representatives of the clergymen in Igbo land disagreed with the federal government, said that he's not at a flight risk, he's not posing, in fact, he's going to even unite the people of the southeast and calm them down from their agitations. So he went further, his lawyers, and slammed a fresh 100 billion suit against the federal government, which the judgment we saw yesterday. So it's been a back and forth. Now that this is the second judgment he's getting to be released and taken back to his place, I think the federal government should obey the rule of law so that it doesn't seem like there's something else that they are not telling us.
But I also like the fact that he got a judgment in his favor. Because when these things happen in Nigeria, we should amplify it and highlight it. Because people think the Nigerian state has failed.
The judiciary is
everything is bad in Nigeria.
I agree.
When you have a judgment where somebody who is obviously against the government gets a judgment in his favor, it's a good thing. And we must be able to remind ourselves that, listen, our country is not failed yet. There's still, there's not failing. There's still hope. There's still hope.
And it shows a form of justice and equity happening here.
If you must give anything to the government of President Muhammadu Buhari, you will give that the judiciary has continued to show their independence on that.
Autonomy,
It doesn't, you know, meddle into
back in the day, you can find the government to meddle into these things, but he doesn't.
In the same vein, let's quickly beg the AGF to follow the rule of law.
They should follow the rule of law now.
The Lagos State Attorney General of Lagos State has written to him to remind him that he went to court for the court to declare the ownership of the TBS to be that of the federal government, and that, you know, that matter is still in the court, and they're hearing reports that they're trying to concession the TBS to raise money to finance the budget, and that should be put on hold until that court case is settled.